So I was literally just in Sedona, Arizona for my mastermind retreat that I'm a part of. I know I talked a little bit about this on my stories and stuff, but I really wanted to tell you guys, I want you to grasp the picture of what a massive difference a year can make. Because 1 year ago, I was a struggling network marketer. I had a 5-figure business. I had no podcast. And I was burnt out. I was totally burnt out in my network marketing business. I didn't know what I wanted to do or where I wanted to go. I just knew there had to be a better way and there had to be more. And I attended Mommy Millionaire Live, which was Kayla's event 1 year ago in Arizona. And at that event is when I decided, you know what? I think I want to become a coach, right? I want to do what Kayla does because I knew she was coming out with her academy. And I saw the impact she was having on women. I saw the difference she was making. I saw the women in the room. And honestly, you guys, I was like, I don't fit in. Like, all these women have badass, awesome businesses that are making like 6 figures and up. Like, I'm this 5-figure network marketer. I don't even know what they're talking about for half of this stuff. That was literally me at this event. And I was like, but I'm still here. I'm hungry. I want to learn. And she told me, she was like, you need to do what's right for you. And you need to listen to that voice inside of you. And it was the permission that I needed. So shortly after that, her coaching program came out and I joined it. And then I heard her talking about this mastermind. And honestly, you guys, she talked about the mastermind at the event. And I did not even consider it. There was like a lunch you could go to check it out. And I was like, nope. I was like, there's no way I can do that. Like, that's for people that are super successful and have these big businesses. Like, that's like not even an option or something that I would consider or am considering. Like, didn't even faze me. And then I kept hearing her talk about it on social media, and she was talking about the ladies that were joining, and she was talking about what the year was going to look like. And I just felt, I was like, you need to bet on yourself. Because I realized up until that point in my business, anytime I wanted to invest, I would go to Peter and be like, hey, I want to invest in this thing. Like, can we make this work? Can we make some money? Blah, blah, blah. And he would help, which, I mean, we share the finances, right? We share the income. But I realized, I was like, because I knew if I did this mastermind, I was like, there's no way we have the money for this. So like, I would have to make this happen. And I realized, I was like, oh my gosh, Joy, you've literally been hiding out in your business because you've subconsciously known every time you've bet on yourself that it's not really up to you if it doesn't work out because you've got Peter, right? And like, he put it down, like he paid for it or he put it on his cards. Like, you don't have real skin in the game. And I remember I visualized where I wanted to be 1 year from now, 1 year from a year ago. And I was like, where do you want to be a year in 1 year's time? And I was like, I want to be a CEO of $1 million company. I want to be making what a millionaire would make. And I knew that I was on track with becoming a coach and starting to work for myself. I couldn't see the evidence yet. I just knew, like, this is going to be a good vehicle. And so I was like, okay, if you knew absolutely that was going to happen, right? You'd be a CEO of $1 million company in 1 year. Who would that version of you be? And I got really clear. I pictured her. Who would she be 1 year from now? The CEO of $1 million brand, coaching people. Maybe she has packages. Like, she's obviously got a podcast, like all these things. And then I asked her in my visualization, would you do this mastermind? Like, would you invest in this? Because looking at the numbers did not make sense financially. Did not make sense with my business. I didn't even have the money for it. And that version of me looked at me and was like, of course you would invest that. That's nothing, right? And that's literally how we get here. Like, you're not going to get here without that. And that's when I knew it was like my oh crap moment where I had that sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach where I was slightly sick to my stomach, but also like really excited. I think I was slightly more sick to my stomach than excited. And I was like, I have to do this. And so I decided to get on a call with Kayla. I got on a call with her and I talked to her about it. And she was like, you should totally do it. I think you would love the women. I think it would level you up. And I remember asking her, I was like, would you advise someone going into debt for this? And I asked her that because I trusted her. I knew that she was here and she had my best interest at heart. And she was like, absolutely, hands down, if I had to do it again, I would 100% do that. And so I went and got a couple credit cards and made the down payment and was like, oh crap, there's no going back, Joy. You are officially all in. Time to sink or swim. Like, we're going to find out what you're made of. But I knew, I was like, I'm either going to do this and it's really going to happen, or I'm going to learn the exact lesson I need to learn to get there anyways. Like, I just knew, I was like, there is no like bad decision here. It's either going to totally work or it's going to be the lesson that I need. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I literally just wrapped up this retreat with all the girls. And I could not even believe, as I'm sitting around this table and I'm chatting with all these amazing women. Some of them have multi-million dollar businesses, right? That are there. And I'm like, who I was a year ago is not even remotely close to who I am today. And yes, I have an incredibly successful business also, but you can ask Peter. He's like, I haven't seen you change so fast in like the whole 10 years we've been married, as opposed to how fast you've changed in the last 9 months. And he's 100% right. I'm not even close to the same person I was a year ago. It almost feels like I don't even know that girl anymore. And it's in a beautiful way, right? A beautiful way. Someone I would never want to go back to who I was before. I'm someone who's 100% confident. I remember when I went to our first event in January, and I was like, I don't feel like I fit in, right? Like, I don't even have a business, all these girls, blah, blah, blah. And I was really nervous and I felt like I had to like show up. And this time walking into Sedona, it felt like a whole bunch of friends. There was not one thought in my head of like, oh, you don't belong here or your business isn't as good. I was like marveling at how different I felt. And that's a reflection of the inner work that I've done and the work that I've done in my business, because I freaking bet on myself. I would not be here today. I would not have the business that I have. I would not be the person that I am if I had not put $30,000 down on a coach and a mastermind. Literally, you guys, I would not be here. I would not have this business. I would not have this podcast. You would not be listening to this if I had not have stepped up and said, I feel that pull in my gut that makes me sick and excited at the same time. That's the highest version of me calling to myself. And not only that, Peter and I hired a marriage coach that is a significant amount of money every single month. We hired a marriage coach back in May. We were able to do that because I was able to pay for it, because my business was able to pay for it. And I would never have been able to dream that my business could pay for it. In fact, a few months before that, I had met with a coach to see if I could work with her, and her price was about the same. And I was like, oh my gosh, I could like never afford that. What would that be like to be able to spend that much a month on a coach? And then a couple months later, I literally started doing that for our marriage. And our marriage is in a completely different place. We are having conversations we never would have dreamed of having a year ago. Peter is getting support and friendships in men that he never would have had. You guys, he just spent a week golfing with Chris Harder and Mike Ayala and a whole bunch of guys that are incredibly successful with successful businesses, because I decided to get in a room of women that were powerful, that were driven, that were going places. I literally remember at Mommy Millionaire Live going, I want to be at that person's table. And it was Chris Harder. I was like, I want to be at Kayla's table. I want to be at Chris Harder's table. And I told Peter, I was like, why can we not be friends with these people? If other people can do this, why not us? And I then began to take the steps, step after step after step, to pull up a seat at the table with people that I knew dream big, think big, they impact people, they serve big, they love big, and they're growing the way that I want to grow. And now that has spread to my husband, that's spreading to our kids. You guys, we just freaking up and moved. I've been thinking about moving for 2 years, and we made this move happen in a month because I was like, my intuition's been telling me, like, we're just supposed to go. I don't know why, but we're supposed to go, and we're supposed to go to Arizona. And we came and made it happen in like a month. And that never would have happened again if I hadn't have started working with a coach to get the confidence to listen to my intuition and then also to build a business that gives the resources to help with this. And so you cannot keep waiting to have the resources to invest in these things. If I had waited, I wouldn't be here today. That's backwards. I've never met anyone who's successful that was like, you know what? I just sat there and was wondering what I should do with all this extra cash. So I decided to start investing it. No, every single person is like, I scraped it together. I got credit cards, right? Like I took a leap of faith. Some guy that I was listening to sold his car and used that to invest in a coach, right? He literally had no car. Because the faith is what gives you the first step in your transformation to becoming that person. You cannot skip that step. And I just wanted to share this with you guys today to remind you, like, look what is possible in a year. Like literally, I've been sitting here lately telling Peter, like, can you even believe this is our life? Can you even believe what can happen in a year? 1 year ago, I was a completely different person I didn't even have my own business. I did not have my own business. I just want that to sink in for you guys because you can have a completely different life in 1 year. You can have a completely different life in 6 months. You can have a completely different life by the time January rolls around, by the time, springtime comes. Whatever that time frame is for you, you can have a completely different life by taking bigger and bigger steps to be that highest version of you now, to be and show up and play at the level that that version of you plays. Because that's literally what I did. I asked that version of me how she played, how she showed up, what decisions she made. She told me, I started doing it. And you have to do the same thing if you want to be that person. You're constantly having a choice day after day if you're going to continue to show up as you always have and be that person from your past, or if you're going to be the person from your future. But the choice is yours. You're going to have to choose. Am I past me today or am I future me today? And the two are very different people. Very different people. I want to know where you want to be in 1 year. What do you think would be like a massive dream? And you're like, oh my gosh, that wouldn't even be possible in 1 year. Guess what? I didn't think this would be possible for me in 1 year. I didn't think we would be living in this house in Arizona, making new kinds of friendships, hanging out with people that I met a year ago and was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to you. This is incredible, right? Dream bigger. Think bigger. Live bigger. Because you don't know what the rest of your life holds. You don't have the rest of your life to think about this. People say someday. You might not have someday. You need to start living that way. You need to start living like you don't have someday. Where do you want to be in 1 year? I want to hear from you. Take a screenshot, share this episode in your Instagram stories, and tell me where you're going to be in 1 year. Because I totally want to cheer you on and hear from you guys. Remember, we are starting 30-day content that converts group on October 26th. You want to get into this group, you guys, because I promise you, your content is what causes people to want to sign up with you or not. It literally conveys your value. If you're getting price objections, it's because of your content. If you have people saying you're motivating but not wanting to sign up, it's because of your content. You got to stop guessing at your content and become a pro. I'm going to teach you how to become a pro by teaching you specific formulas that you need for posts that actually convert sales. I'm going to teach you the types of posts you need as an entrepreneur. I'm going to teach you how to show up better as an entrepreneur and not an influencer, because those are two very different things. I'm going to show you how to stand up as an expert in your field and sound completely different than anybody else in your industry, because right now you're blending in with everybody else in your industry and you've got to stand out. I'm going to teach you how. Go over to my Instagram, joyharrington.ig, and hop in before it's too late, because 30 days from now, you could be in a completely different place. We've already talked about that. So where do you want to be in 30 days? I will see you on the gram.